We are about to begin. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. You're going to say pride. 1, 2, 3. Pride. 1, 2, 3. Pride. 1, 2, 3. Pride. Let the Pride Parade begin.
We'll wait for the bicycles.
Bicycles in front.
Yep, yeah, exactly. Lap us. Go all the way up and come all the way back. Whatever you feel like. Stay close. Whatever makes you feel love.
Just not too fast.
Not too fast. Slow motion.
Very cool. Sweet.
Chance. Oh, we're doing chance this year.
Behind me.
This is my sister, Maria.
Right on, right on. Very well. Hey, sweet. I like the butterflies.
Everybody smile at the camera. Hi. SB 562, health care for you and me. SB 562, SQ 562, SQ 562, SB 562, health care equality. Thank you. Health care equality.
Very well.
562.
So many rides to have to restore.
For me and you, Senate Bill 562.
You got my card. I'll send it on the Pride Parade event page too for Facebook.
You like it? You like it?
I don't know what the holdup is. I guess we're too many clogging up the lane.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, pretty good. Glad to see you out as well. Thank you. Thank you for supporting.
Absolutely. great work.
I try.
Hey, pal, that's us.
Yeah, right on, right on. Well, we got to do more. A lot of community meeting to fish out for people right now for running for office still.
Absolutely.
Still, and people to support.
Yeah,
definitely.
I want to find out who's having candidate nights and forums and all that, and show
Right.
up to those. for
Well,
sure.
well, July 16, August 10. I mean, and we should be trying to find people still, because who we're going to end up with is probably not as good a chances. So.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Sweet. Looks like everybody.
nurses. Mighty nurses. Fighting for our patients. Fighting for our patients. Fighting for our community. Fighting for our community. Don't cry.
Hey guys, you gotta watch it.
Bunch up together. Guys, bunch up together. Go ahead. Hey, go ahead. Keep walking. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy Pride.
We are in front again. Oh yeah. Woo! Sweet. Happy Pride Day. Happy Pride.
Hey! Woo! Autocorrect, am I right? It happens. Whoops.
Hi, Supervisor Adams. You look phenomenal. Dwight. It worked right there. The sun is right on us.
Everyone's gonna say that one. What a lot! Be like, lost. What a lot. Okay, let's go eat food. Today they're called Weeble, baby. We're calling them Weeble. Where? We're all gonna slow down and kind of gather before we turn the corner.
Okay.
Good job, John.
You and touching people in the back.
Well, you're right. This is a good
Hey,
spot to be.
no, I'm saying get out of my money spot.
This is my spot too. It's public.
No,
homie.
no. Hey,
You can try that, but it's too bad, dude. It's public. Won't have to. Everybody's screaming this away, so I'm coming over here.
I have never got this promise. I just have to move today. Okay.
Not bad.
Yeah, like what happened to Peninsula last time he left?
No, he was here.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's in the crowd. He's not trying to
Oh,
you know, the guy. He's just in the crowd.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Last
But
time they
other
had a bit of
making
space.
space. They're making space. He didn't kill space.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yay!
There you go. Right on, right on.
Hey!
Oh. Keep your jacket.
Yay!
Yay, happy Pride! Right on, right on.
Yay! Go Democrats! Woo!
Fighting for patience. Fighting for We're here! We're queer! We're fabulous! Come dance with us! We're
For Pride Fest in Seaside, this was the last Pride celebration.
for being here. Please come fill up the seats. I wanted to start off by just recognizing what our theme is for this year. We're celebrating generations of pride. So we're thanking the Trailblazers for stepping up and creating such a beautiful space for younger generations to come in and take on leadership roles. So thank you to all for being here and being part of our theme.
Again, we'd like to just thank everybody for being here as you all are settling into your seats. We will have a formal welcome from our president after our interfaith welcome, but we're going to be emceeing for you all today. We're the co-chairs of the Monterey Peninsula Pride Board of Directors. My name is Rachel. I use she, her pronouns.
And my name is Tyler Williamson. I use he, him, his pronouns.
All right, so before we really dive into everything today, we'd like to begin with an interfaith spiritual welcome, and this is going to be led by Father John. Father John Perez is the Episcopal gay priest at Epiphany Lutheran and Episcopal Church in Marina and the senior chaplain at Cal State University, Monterey Bay. Father John is also our senior grand marshal this year.
As they come up to the stage, I'm also going to recognize, at least the ones that I have on this sheet here, the other religious leaders in our community that stand here united with us. So we have Reverend Elaine German, Unitarian Universalist Church of Monterey Peninsula, Reverend Daniel William Paul, Christian Church of Pacific Grove, Assistant Minister Michelle Helnich, Unity Church of Monterey, Deacon Alice Ann Glenn, Monterey United Methodist Church, Reverend Sarah Miyoko Hunsenker, Soto Zen Buddhism, Reverend Katie Day, First Presbyterian Church of Monterey, Reverend Dr. Dale G. Tremper, Monterey United Methodist Church, and Reverend Michael Reed, St. Mary's by the Sea Episcopal Church. Thank you all so much for being here today. We also have Ben Newcomer, First Church of Monterey. Thank you. Sorry. Abner, he's representing the Jewish community. Thank you all. Father John.
And the cute looking one is Good afternoon. I want to welcome you to this event. But first I want to thank Monterey Peninsula Pride for having us here and recognizing that the LGBTQ community is a very spiritual community. We are people that have deep faith and spiritual journeys, and the uniqueness of starting with a spiritual element is greatly appreciated. But I want to speak very candidly right now, and hopefully you can all hear this. I want to make one really important announcement. We realize that we stand here as clergy to do this invocation and to welcome you, and how spiritual the LGBTQ community is. But we're also deeply aware that institutions and people of those institutions have been hurting people who are LGBTQ. That the LGBTQ community has people in it who've been hurt, wounded, abused by people of religious authority or claiming expertise in Holy Scriptures, and have used those things against them to draw the circle and keep them out. And we stand here as an apology for the pain, the hurt, the suffering, the abuse that you have been faced with by a faith institution, religion, or religious leader. And our goal here is to draw a circle. not to lift you out, but a circle to welcome you in. And so, as you see the clergy here today at this event, if you're someone who's been hurt or abused and needs some reconciliation, we are here for you. And once again, I am going to have the clergy here announce their name and where they're from, so you can know that we are standing here for you as part of our apology to the wound, the suffering, the indifference, the unkindness, the abuse that you may have suffered. If we help one person heal today, then we've done an amazing job. If we help more than one, we're helping turn the world around to a better journey and a better place of peace. And please accept our forgiveness for things that have happened to you. For we here stand with the LGBT community. So let us continue, and I would ask you to hold off any applauses until everybody has had a chance to announce their name and where they're from.
I'm Ben Newcomer, a retired pastor at the First Presbyterian Church in Monterey.
Hi, I'm Dan Paul, the senior pastor of the Christian Church of Pacific Grove.
I'm Captain and Professor Avner Evan-Zohar on behalf of the Jewish community at large.
I'm Alice Anglan, a retired deacon in the United Methodist Church and connected with the Monterey United Methodist Church.
I'm Sarah Hunsick, and I'm a priest with the Soto Zen-Buddhist tradition and am part of the Monterey Zen Center.
I'm Dale Tremper, I'm a pastor at the Monterey United Methodist Church.
I'm Axel Gehrman, I'm a co-minister at the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Monterey Peninsula.
Gehrman, co-minister of the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Monterey Peninsula.
Hi, I'm Michael Reed. I'm an Episcopal priest, a member of All Saints Church in Carmel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Lynch, and I'm assistant minister at Unity of Monterey Bay.
And I'm Katie Day. I'm one of the pastors at First Presbyterian Church of Monterey.
And we are here for you. As we begin this invocation, you'll have a piece of work to do in this, a response. And the response is, our heart beats as one. Let's try that. Our heart beats as one. Let's try that as if we have heart into it. Our hearts beat as one. Okay. Before I begin, I do want to take a moment of silence in memorial. This week, some people have passed. People have been instrumental in the LGBTQ community in different ways and capacities. Akeem, who was the Grand Marshal Emeritus, passed away this week. His work on the Monterey Peninsula, the LGBT community, and HIV and AIDS for African American men has been instrumental. And we lose a great leader, a great friend, a great spirit. At the other end of the spectrum, as we are gathering together at this time, is the funeral of Don Fusilier. Don Fusilier was the police chief of Carmel, as well as an ordained Episcopal clergy. And we don't often think as the police as being the good guys, but Don Fusilier was someone who worked really quietly, effectively, and efficiently for the safety and protection of the LGBTQ community. That if there had been a death threat or things like that, Don was there to work behind the scenes to make sure that people were protected and safe. And so we lose a great advocate and friend in law enforcement. So I would like you to take a moment in silence right now as we remember them and all of our LGBTQ leaders who are no longer with us. Let us pause. Please say with me, let our hearts beat as one. Let our hearts beat as one. We give thanks for the generosity of time, resources, and heart of the board of the Monterey Peninsula Pride and their volunteers. Let our hearts beat as one. Thanksgiving for a community committed to marching and celebrating together. To all the friends and community groups that stand with the LGBTQ community and allies here today, we thank you for your support. Let our hearts beat as one. For the courage of our elected officials, from the city of Seaside City Council to those who stand with us today at this event, we thank you for standing with us and celebrating our rights to live in peace and love in the face of challenge. Let our hearts beat as one. For public safety and city staff of Seaside who protect us this day with hospitality and joy in placing their own safety on the line, let our hearts beat as one. For all who have marched before us, from Stonewall, New York, to the handful of LGBTQ friends that marched from Schultze Park in New Monterey, one block down Lighthouse Avenue to the After Dark so many years ago. Thank you for your courage in showing us the way. Let our hearts beat as one. For safety, protection, and support of the LGBTQ people that serve in our military and all military personnel that serve and protect us, especially our trans active duty serving in the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, the Marines, and Coast Guard. Let our hearts beat as one. We give thanks for the proud diversity of our LGBT community in Monterey County. From King City to Big Sur. We are all colors, races, creeds, and languages. Let the world see today that the rainbow will never fade and only become brighter in this community, that our community celebrates all diversity and the dignity of every human being. Let our hearts beat as one. Thank you.
Thank you again, Father John, for that interfaith spiritual welcome. And next we would like to introduce our president of the Monterey Peninsula Pride Board of Directors for our formal welcome today.
Stephen Goings, also known as Quasar. Stephen Goings, in his spiritual alter ego Quasar, is a postmaster's intern at CSUMB's Personal Growth and Counseling Center. They are also a life member of the NAACP, a board member of the National Coalition Building Institute, and the president of Monterey Pride, and will be moderating the post-Pride panel at Wave Street Studios today at 5 p.m. Quasar. Give it up for Quasar.
Have a gay day! So I'm holding up that I can see you or I can see my script. That's how it is now.
So welcome to our second Monterey Peninsula Pride Celebration and Parade in the city of Seaside. So for the next few minutes, I will be serving as your cheerleader-in-chief. So this is the audience participation part. I am going to shout out an identity, and you are going to shout out pride. Got it? Lesbian! Gay! Bisexual! Trans! Queer! Pride! So continuing with the theme of pride, I am happy to announce that as of March 2018, our little group of organizers has obtained our 501c3 status, and we are now the nonprofit known officially as Monterey Peninsula. So the purpose of Monterey Peninsula Pride, we took a long time on this mission statement, so I want you to hear it. The purpose of Monterey Peninsula Pride is to unite and serve local LGBTQ+ communities by celebrating our histories, go to the history room, pursuing multicultural equity, developing LGBTQ+ leadership, educating ourselves and others, and cultivating alliances. As part of pursuing multicultural equity, I would like to start with an acknowledgement that this event takes place within the traditional territory of the Ohlone, Costanoan, Esselen Nation. And so I would like anyone who is here and who belongs to any of the indigenous peoples of the Americas to please stand. So if you are among the indigenous people of the Americas, please stand at this moment. And we're going to give you, I see one right here. Thank you, thank you. Big round of applause. So our theme this year is celebrating generations of pride. We envision a multicultural generational community in which LGBTQ youth are nurtured and LGBTQ+ elders are honored. This year, Monterey Peninsula Pride, one of our LGBTQ+ elders, Jane McKinn Miller, was chosen to be honored in perpetuity as our Senior Grand Marshal Emeritus. However, we are very sad to announce that Akin passed away on Wednesday. We have a tribute to him in the lobby and on the communal altar, but I do want to give you a moment, just to talk a little bit about our friend Akin. So as a guest speaker at the 1992 annual United Way luncheon, Akin came out publicly as a gay African-American man living with AIDS. Akin's action directly challenged the stigmatization, he challenged the stigmatization of gay men and people with HIV/AIDS. His heroic action put a human face on AIDS in the Monterey County and helped dispel the notion that AIDS was only a disease of white gay men. Akin went on to found the organization African American HIV/AIDS Wellness, served for years on the board of the Monterey Peace and Justice Center, was the longtime health chair of the Monterey County branch NAACP, and was an artist, architect, world traveler, and Tibetan Buddhist. The name Akinwale is actually a spiritual name that was bestowed upon him when he visited Nigeria in 1990. It means the mighty warrior has returned home. And indeed he has. So can we have a moment of silence for Akin? And a round of applause for Akin James Miller. Today's event would not be possible without our primary financial sponsor, Community Human Services. The mission statement of CHS reads, "Addiction, mental illness, and homelessness destroys lives and weakens families. Therefore, Community Human Services provides people of all ages with the tools and support to overcome these challenges and create lasting change in their lives." And I want to say on a personal note that maybe 12 or 14 years ago, I was one of those people whose lives of Community Human Services have changed. CHS has proven to be a great ally to Monterey Peninsula Pride and the LGBTQ+ community. In addition to the services it offers to the general community, CHS also has LGBTQ+ identifying staff, offering counseling and therapy for LGBTQ individuals, as well as group counseling for LGBTQ+ teens from 12 to 17 through their programs Rainbows Over Seaside and Rainbows Over Salinas. I think that deserves an enormous round of applause. Speaking of great allies, I would like everyone who is in the room and in the sound of my voice at this moment who does not, I repeat, who does not share an LGBTQ identity themselves, but considers themselves to be an ally to our community, to please stand so we can appreciate you. Allies, please stand. Thank you. We could not do this work without you. Okay, so to wrap things up, I am going to call out a number of groups. If you're part of that group, I want you to stand or wave your hands to be recognized, and the rest of us are going to applaud you wildly. Wildly. If you are an LGBTQ+ person, 60 years or older, please stand and be recognized. And white or of European heritage, please stand and be recognized. Let's be real, it's the enormous privilege of white people that has helped us get so far, so thank you for that. If you are LGBTQ+ and black or of African heritage, please stand and be recognized. If you are LGBTQ+ and Latino, Chicano, Hispanic, Latinx, please stand and be recognized. Okay. If you are LGBTQ+ and Asian or Pacific Islander, please stand and be recognized. Oh, I forgot to raise my hand for black people. If you are LGBTQ+ and living with a disability, please stand and wave your hand to be recognized. If you are personally an LGBTQ+ person of faith, please stand and be recognized. On the board of directors of Monterey Peninsula Pride, or on the organizing committee, please stand and be recognized. If you are LGBTQ+, 25 years or younger, please stand and be recognized. I mean that purpose well. Okay, so finally we're going to in the same way that we began, but we're going to put it all together. So this time, this is for everybody in the room. I say rainbow, you say rainbow! 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 Thank you.
Hello again, everyone. So before we continue moving forward in our program, we want to add to a very long list of thank yous today. There are so many people who made this event happen. We would not be here without them. So in particular, we would love to thank our additional sponsors, the ACLU Monterey County Chapter, the Epiphany Lutheran and Episcopal Church, Rainbow Speakers and Friends, Unitarian Universalist Church of the Monterey Peninsula, Wave Street Studios, where we'll be having a panel at 5 p.m., and the Peace and Justice Center. A couple of other important people that we would like to thank today. First is the Central Coast Nurses Metro Council. They marched with us today, and they are also our point people to help with first aid. So thank you for being here today. We would also like to thank all of the volunteers. Anyone you see in those bright green shirts, they came out of the goodness of their heart today to help make this happen. We really couldn't be here without them. We'd also like to thank our ASL interpreter, Sabine, right here. This is normally a two-person show, and she's here with us today solo, so thank you so much. And thank you to our artist, Vanessa from Seaside High, who did the beautiful artwork on all of our posters.
We also want to make an announcement about something that's going on this afternoon. Many of you may have heard about it. It's the Families Belong Together event. They're hosting these all across the country. And so we just ask you to go out and support that. It will be today from 4 to 6 p.m. at Window on the Bay, which is 717 Del Monte Ave in Monterey. It's right across the street from Lake El Estero. So up next, we're going to have all the elected officials come up on stage and introduce themselves, what position they're in one sentence. I say one sentence because it's going to be more than one sentence with these guys, but I do ask them all to come up. Run on one sentence. I'm first going to ask for, is Dennis Alexander still here? So we want to give a big thank you to the city of Seaside for co-hosting this event. So we're going to start the elected officials with Dennis Alexander. He's the mayor pro tem for the city of Seaside.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dennis Alexander. I'm the mayor pro tem of the city of Seaside. Here on behalf of the city of Seaside today. And I first of all want to recognize the other elected Seaside council members, Dave Pacheco, Kayla Jones, and I think Jason Campbell is still here. Ralph Rubio, the mayor, has some extenuating circumstances, so he couldn't be here today. I'd just like to say that the city of Seaside is very proud to host this event for the second year in a row, and hopefully there will be many more years to come. Although this is only the second year in which this event was hosted by the city of Seaside, the city of Seaside has been involved in the efforts and concerns of the LGBT community for many years. And I say that from personal knowledge because as a education volunteer with the Monterey County AIDS project back in the early 90s, before I became a resident of the city of Seaside, I was a volunteer with NCAP, which is where I met Akeem Miller and my lovely wife Laura. So the city of Seaside has long been involved in this because NCAP was headquartered in Seaside. and the city hopes to sponsor events like this much longer in the future. So with that, I'd like to introduce Kayla Jones to the stage because she wants to read a proclamation.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So the City of Seaside would like to proclaim June 2018 as LGBT Pride Month. I am Kayla Jones, currently on the City Council. Thank you. Whereas the City of Seaside has a diverse lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community and is committed to celebrating and supporting visibility, dignity, and equity for all people in the community. And whereas many of the residents within the City of Seaside that contribute to the enrichment of our city are a part of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community. And whereas the City of Seaside has a long and proud history of inclusion and civil rights. And whereas the City of Seaside commends the bravery and courage of all those in the LGBT community that face adversity and various forms of violence. And whereas the Supreme Court decision guaranteeing marriage equality in all 50 states was a historic victory for the LGBT community, our country, especially now, still has far to go with respect to the equitable treatment of the LGBT community. And whereas continued opposition and oppression against LGBT people makes it important for cities to stand up and show solidarity and support for our LGBT residents and the community at large. And whereas several cities across the United States recognize and celebrate June as LGBT Pride Month, June has become a symbolic month in which the LGBT community and allies come together in various celebrations of Pride. Now therefore, the City Council of the City of Seaside does hereby declare the month of June 2018 as Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Pride Month, symbolizing the city's celebration of diversity and support for the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community. Thank you. We would like to invite the rest of our elected officials here today up to the stage, please, to share their statements of support.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jane Parker. I'm on the Monterey County Board of Supervisors. And on behalf of my colleague Mary Adams, who was here earlier, she extends her greetings as well. These two resolutions here were passed by the Board of Supervisors proclaiming June as LGBTQ+ Pride Month. And for me, I think it's so great to see such a great turnout here today. We've made a lot of progress, but I still think about people of whatever age, but particularly young people, as they are grappling with their sexuality. It's so important for us to be visible and supportive to let them know that everyone is welcome in our community, loved, honored, and supported.
I'm John Laird, and 35 years ago, I was one of the first 3 openly gay mayors in the United States when I was in 2002, Mark Leno and I were the first 2 openly gay men to get elected to the state legislature. I am now one of the 2 openly gay members of the governor's cabinet as Secretary of Natural Resources, and the theme of generational strength. All of us were out and proud and clear. It made a difference. It's the reason we've made great gains, but we have to continue to do it because we have a lot more to do. So thanks for having me here today. Congratulations.
Good afternoon, everybody. Jimmy Panetta, your U.S. Congressman. Thank you. Let me tell you, it's damn good to be here and not Washington, D.C. Especially seeing this unity come together and celebrate what we have here on the Monterey Peninsula. So thank you very much. Look, we know that this is a time of a lot of confusion. A lot of confusion, emotional, psychological, ethics, But at the same time, when I come here, when I get the hell out of Washington, D.C. and come home to our community and to see this type of support, this type of unity, this is what is going to get us through that confusion. This is why we marched today. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we need to continue marching right into the polls in November of 2018 and November of 2020. Thank you again for being here. Keep on marching. Keep the unity. Keep the strength. Thank you.
I'm Oldemeyer, and I'm the board president for the Monterey Peninsula Unified School District. PUSD definitely supports equity and supports all those in the LGBT community. And I personally am here to support my family members and friends who are also part of the LGBT community. Thank you. Get out and vote.
So I am not an elected official, but Assemblymember Mark Stone is, and I'm here representing him. He did just have to step out. But thank you so much for the courage that all of you have expressed in this struggle. We know it's not over. We know it continues. And as a pansexual woman working for Assemblymember Stone, I can assure you he is an enthusiastic and vocal supporter for our rights to dignity and freedom. So thank you.
And again, I'm Kayla Jones, and I serve on the Seaside City Council, and I am one of the 171 lesbian, queer, transgender women, or gay women that are running for office this year. So it's a rainbow wave. But I just wanted to very briefly, like 30 seconds, say that when I was a freshman in high school, which was 2008, I'm 24 right now if you're trying to do the math, Prop 8 came before the state, and that was against marriage equality. And so I would have never thought in a million years that in 2018 I'd be sitting on the city council, running for mayor, and openly queer. This is... So this is a dream come true for me. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being a part of the process, the struggle, and the continuing fight for equity and equal treatment for our community. So thank you.
Okay, so since we're on a thing about elections here, I just actually wanted to share with the group that I'm going to be running for city council in Monterey, so it's been an exciting opportunity, and I think stuff like this is a testament to how powerful the LGBT community is at organizing and bringing people from different backgrounds together. So I thank you all for being here. We're going to transition now, and we're going to do a few more announcements.
So, as we begin to move into more of our speakers, we're going to be inviting our grand marshals up here in just a moment to speak with you. We want to remind you all about the awesome stuff that's going on in the space today, in case you need to get up, walk around, and move your legs a bit. We have the silent auction directly to your right over here. It'll be open all afternoon. Next to that, we've got t-shirt sales and glitter tattoos and body painting. Right next to the history room, which showcases a lot of our LGBTQ plus history. We also have the quiet room in the back if you need a break from all the noise, right next to the art room, featuring a lot of amazing local artists. Out in the lobby, you can find our community altar, a photo booth. Outside, there's some awesome food trucks, and been munching on some all afternoon. Delicious. And then I think that's it. We got fun stuff going on, so make sure you check it all out.
Okay, so our next speaker I want to introduce is Janae Brelin. She is 16 years old, everybody. And this will be her first ever Pride. She's an African American and she goes to Seaside High School as an upcoming junior. And she's also our youth grand marshal for our Pride this year. So thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
I face a complex situation that I and many others are still coming to terms with. That is being LGBTQ African American. I often felt like I was always on the less desirable list. While confusing over my sexual orientation, I was also trying to deal with the questioning of my culture and why I looked the way I did. I can describe the feeling like running away from your bully only to turn around and see their follow-ups and their backup right behind you. With one group of friends, I felt insecure because I was African American. With my other group of friends, a part of the LGBTQ community, I felt insecure because I didn't understand how I felt yet. I couldn't relate to them because my experiences were different. I didn't love myself as much as they did. I feared rejection from my friends, family, and love. In moments, I thought just to avoid all labels, abandon my culture, and deny my sexual orientation altogether. Eventually, I became a mess. I was lost, confused, insecure, and I was beginning to be nothing but envy. Who brought me out of this identity crisis were mentors of the LGBTQ community I found at my school, one of them being River, and another an amazing teacher. They supported me in finding out who I was at my own pace. They helped my friends and I mature to understand each other and accept each other. Through theater, I was able to give people a glimpse of what it felt like to be me, what it felt like to walk in my shoes and the things that I face. Technology allowed me to find role models that I can admire, like Zendaya, who makes everyone feel wanted. I won't deny that technology can get overwhelming, but through it, I made so many connections. Finding these powerful outlets are key to overcoming obstacles. And I believe the generation I am a part of have been taking advantage of each opportunity. We see the efforts of those older than us, and we want to make impacts too. I say, get excited. Because the new rebels aren't only rebels, they're advocators. Thank you.
Okay, as we're moving forward in the day, we want to remind you all about some awesome things that are going on later today if you want to continue celebrating with us. At 5 o'clock, there's going to be a live studio audience for a filming of a panel at Wave Street Studios. We're going to have a lot of different folks there. We're going to really be talking about our new development as a nonprofit, so it's going to be exciting, but it'll also be live streamed, so you can find it online afterwards. And another reminder is that tonight is going to be Pride Night at the Bull and Bear, so this is our after party as well as a fundraiser. It begins at 8 p.m. downtown, and if you would like to get a VIP wristband, you can find those at the info table, to be 21 or over. And the wristband will get you a discount on food from 7 to 9 p.m. tonight, which is awesome.
Okay, and so our next speakers are JT Mason and Deb Busman. Deb and JT have been organizing together in Monterey for over 40 years. Deb ran Copyworks, a woman-owned print shop in Pacific Grove, for 15 years and is currently a professor at CSUMB. Her novel about queer youth coming up on the streets of LA, Like a Woman, was a finalist for the Lambda Literary Award in lesbian fiction. JT is best known for her 30 years of broadcasting on KAZU and KUSP. She is currently active with Whites for Racial Equity, an affiliate of SURJ, showing up for racial justice. Give it up for Deb and JT.
Nice to be here with all of you in Generations of Pride. Clearly, we cannot begin to cover all the history of LGBTQ activism in Monterey County in the 3 minutes we've been allotted. So we're going to limit it to the last 40 years, which is the same amount of time that we've been together working out loud, proud lesbian activists in this area, starting with the fight. Starting with the fight to defeat Proposition 6, which was also known as the Briggs Initiative. Fueled by Anita Bryant's Save Our Children campaign, the Briggs Initiative got onto the California ballot, seeking to ban all gay and lesbians from being teachers and working in the public schools, as well as the allies who stood by us, who said it was okay that we're doing it. It was a widespread thing. It was very hateful. Along with now attorneys Mickey Welsh and Kathy Stoner, I'm not even sure they were in law school at the time, and some great ACLU lefty allies. We met in Bev Harrison and Claire Parrish's living room in Mississippi Grove, strategizing our resistance to defeat this hateful measure, and defeat it we did. Many more battles lay ahead, and we knew that staying silent and closeted was not going to save us. We needed to increase our visibility, build family and community, and forge new coalitions. To fight the hatred and homophobia, we had to come out in record numbers and show them who we really were.
Our straight allies, like Dick Riley, Fred and Ann Jealous, Polly Parker, and so many more, were critical to our success. And Polly Parker, mother of our wonderful county supervisor Jane Parker, was the best straight ally anyone could ask for. As a board member of the Meter Resources, she was the one who would put on her pearls and her straight lady drag and go out to reserve all the church and public schools venues for our women's music productions, signing the contracts that led us to packing 800 plus happy, shouting, dancing Dykes and friends in the PG Middle School auditorium. To hear Holly Near, Meg Christian, Sweet Honey in the Rock in concert. Polly taught us the power of allies and accomplices, and what's possible when folks leverage their privilege to open doors and have each other's backs.
Okay, a side note, you know I can't help it. The first venue we tried to do at Demeter Productions was a little room at the PG Art Center that was called the Elmery Dyke Room. They wouldn't let us do it. We're like, you're called the Elmery Dyke Room. We'll bring more, I promise. Okay, back to the script. Not only were we fighting for our livelihoods, often we were fighting for our lives. These were the days of gay bashing outside the bars, when all we knew to leave when we left after dark, to never leave alone. After a night of dancing, drinking, and wild flirting, because on the other side of the door, out in the streets awaited busted cars, slashed tires, guys with baseball bats spewing slurs, And worse, those were the days, the late night hateful voicemails, threats of firebombs against Copyworks, a women's own wink wink, print shop. There was being threatened to be bombed because they refused to print Jerry Falwell's Christian Voice hate group, which advocated the execution of all gays, lesbians, and prostitutes.
Because we knew our silence did not protect us, we spoke out, increasing visibility and voice through concerts, community events, women's newspapers, and Kate Miller's infamous women's storytelling gatherings. Every Thursday morning on Kazoo's My Sister House, JT played women's music, shared community events, and brought us interviews, telling stories, sending critical information out into our homes and communities, letting other LGBT folks know that we were not alone. We published a monthly women's newspaper called Demeter. We spoke out, we organized, we danced, and we played ball. Those are the days when Demeter Resources sponsored women's basketball and softball teams. when Baby Dykes taught us how to properly slide into home, when Mickey Welch ruled the pitcher's mound, and Bettina Aptheker was behind the plate ripping off her catcher's mask and storming the ump after a bad call. Those are the days when, after winning the Parks and Rec League division, our women's basketball team was asked to play a game in the hardcore military league. The days when, not quite knowing what we were in for, we said, sure, why not? And next thing we knew, there we were in the middle of the four-door gym, now CSUMB, going up against the 6-foot-plus tall Army women's basketball champions, all decked out in their fancy warm-up suits, running serious drills all around us as we stood, hairy legs and all, dressed in our little black t-shirts with the logo of the Demeter goddess holding a shaft of wheat. Of course, we got our butts kicked, but we played with heart and spunk, and by the end, all the GIs in the stands were cheering us on, recognizing game.
Playing ball, organizing politically, dancing at women's concerts and gay bars, listening to radio shows like My Sister's House, gathering for talent shows and storytelling events. All these were critical for building community and for building family. Back then, the code for trying to suss out if somebody was gay, you'd say, are they a friend of Dorothy's? Well, now they became, are they family? Because family became very important and we created our own. In fact, the Sister Sledge song, We Are Family, became our anthem. Many more of us started to expand our families through fertility clinics, adoptions, and fostering. In fact, in 1999, my wife Gretchen and I became the first lesbians in Monterey County to openly adopt as a same-sex couple. And we got that little girl in the red hat. As we all expanded our families, we extended our visibility and our influence out into the schools. We have much to celebrate today, and we have a lot of work ahead. These are dangerous times. Let's not sugarcoat it. These are dangerous times. We need to continue and build coalitions across race, gender, class, any barriers that separate us. When we start to feel overwhelmed and immobilized by all the horror and hatred we see on the news, let us think back to this gathering and let it help lift us up and get us out the door to continue this fight. Lesbian, gay, bi, trans, queer, fluid, black, brown, migrant, Muslim, refugee, we all are family, and we all are in this together.
Give it up for Deb and JT. Okay, so we just wanted to thank our sponsors again. We can't thank them enough, so we're going to do it every chance that we get. We have ACLU, Monterey County Chapter, Epiphany Lutheran and Episcopal Church, CHS, Community Human Services, Rainbow Speakers and Friends, Unitarian Universalist Church of the Monterey Peninsula, Peace and Justice Center, and the Wave Street Studios. Thank you all for your generous support.
Speakers, we also just want to remind you or let you know, if you haven't had a peek at the program, is that we also have some amazing entertainers who are going to be coming up after our speakers. So lots of fun and dancing. Stick around, stay tuned, don't leave just yet. All right, we are going to introduce our next speaker, which is Rosalind Macias. Rosalind is moving up, coming from working in the fields, harvesting artichokes, picking strawberries and raspberries, to participating in groups in Salinas such as Conexis, mostly made up of trans women working on trans visibility, to being involved in the LGBTQ+ community and the Latinx Film Festival Committee. Rosalind is presently working with the California Rural Legal Assistance Program as an LGBTQ+ community program worker, helping with the field workers' rights. Now working harder than ever for the LGBTQ+ community, she is conducting a trans needs assessment survey in the community. Rosalind is hoping for the day of freedom from being judged and stereotyped by closed-minded people condoning machismo.
Thank you. Nervous. Well, it's thank you. And thanks for my nieces coming up with me up here to Seaside Pride, Monterey Pride. I just didn't know what to write, so I'll let you know tell you what I wrote. Hola, my brothers and sisters. My name is Rosalind Macias, and I'm honored and pleased to be here to speak in this year's Monterey Pride. When I was first asked by my supervisor was if I was able to participate in speaking in the Monterey Pride, without thinking twice, I said yes right away. I didn't mind about the people being there, but what was I gonna say? The only thing that just popped up in my mind was thinking of Harvey Milk and one of his quotes. This is one of his quotes. Gay people we will not win rights by staying quietly in our closets. We're coming out to fight lies and myths. And the story is, we are coming out to tell the truth about gays, and I'm tired of the conspiracy of silence. So I'm going to talk about it and want to talk about it. You must come out. I also thought about Sylvia Rivera. Never knew about Sylvia Rivera until a couple weeks ago. Was looking up into it. Who fought hard about LGBT rights, especially the rights of transgender brothers and sisters, as well as those of color, and of those famous quotes that goes, I was a radical, a revolutionist, I am still a revolutionist. I am glad I was at the Stonewall riot. I remember when someone threw the Maltese cocktail. I thought, my God, the revolution is here. The revolution is finally here. And as I stand here in the community of Monterey County and with the families of the community, it is time to share our stories to the community where we come from and our values that our families gave us. It is time to make history in this community and show the youth the history in the past and continue to make the history for our youth. Thank you.
Alrighty, so we're about to get started with our final speaker of this afternoon, and we want to remind you all one last time that we do have this silent auction going on directly to your right. Make sure you're getting out there and bidding. Silent auction will be open until about 10 minutes prior to the end of our afternoon. And we also have food vendors outside and all that good stuff, so just make sure you're checking everything out while you're here today.
So our next speaker is River Nevai. River Nevai, a returning speaker from Monterey Peninsula Pride from 2017, is a performer and arts educator local to Seaside who uses they, them pronouns. Give it up for River.
Hi everyone, and thank you. I'm wondering what this feedback issue is. Okay, I think I made it worse.
Yay!
Push the button. Turn it off. You can turn that one off, go Tyler.
Okay, I think that's all right, but I totally knocked over the proclamations. Okay. Hi everyone, and thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being you. My name is River Navai. My pronouns are they, them. I teach drama at Seaside High School. I work at Palenque Arts in Seaside, Multicultural Arts Center. We actually have an open mic tomorrow at 6, you should come. I played Alice at Bechtel in Fun Home earlier this year. Yay, lesbian representation in the theater. And when I was asked to return to speak a second time after speaking last year, I really questioned why I was asked, what value anything I really have to say, what I can offer, really. But I'm glad to see the representation we've had of our speakers. I'm glad to see the diversity we have in our room today, and that is so important, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. Today we celebrate the enormous strides we have made as a community of lesbian, transgender, bisexual, gay, queer, intersex, two-spirit, pansexual, asexual, gender non-conforming, beautiful, radical, loving individuals. I want to start by honoring the very first generation of the Pride movement, without whom we would not be here today. On June 28th in 1969, a community of queer and trans, mostly young, mostly poor, mostly people of color, stood up to police violence and used radical tactics to defend their home and community at the Stonewall Inn. The Stonewall Inn in the surrounding Christopher Street neighborhood of New York City was, at the time, one of the only perceived safe places where queer and trans people could exist together in public. It wasn't always safe, though. They still faced routine police raids, harassment, violence, and jail sentences for disorderly conduct, meaning kissing or dancing with a member of the same gender, or for code violations aimed at cross-dressers and trans people, laws that were not officially disbanded in New York until 2011. While gays and cross-dressers were perceived by police as relatively docile and easy to beat up, on that fateful night in 1969, trans women of color Sylvia Rivera and Marsha Pay It No Mind Johnson led the resistance that would ignite the entire movement for gender and sexuality liberation. The queer and gender non-conforming people that rallied against police violence that night in 1969 did so because they had no other choice. Submission was no longer an option when the most vulnerable were still the most heavily targeted. Pride began not as a party, but as a protest. Each year around this time, claims are made that by achieving marriage equality and rainbows on every major social media outlet, we have somehow passed the gay agenda. But marriage equality is about the right to exist in private, within an acceptably heteronormative framework. Pride is about our right to exist outside of societal conventions, safely and proudly, in public. As vital as the contributions of trans women of color have been to our movement, Pride and even Stonewall have become symbols of a largely white, cisgender, male movement that has further marginalized people of color, women, and trans folks. And while some of us, myself included, may feel safe enjoying our ability to feel safe in public spaces, that still is not the reality for so many of our people. It is not just homophobia that hurts our community, but also systems of white supremacy, institutional racism, war, patriarchy, colonialism, borderism, ableism, poverty, and capitalism. Don't clap for all those isms, y'all. So where are the Ellens and the Neil Patricks of the world who, happily married, stand up for the black and brown trans women facing assault and murder merely for existing in public? What about indigenous, queer, and trans people displaced by colonialism, war, environmental racism? For the undocumented QLGBT folks facing deportation and detainment, lacking access to basic human rights? What about the folks harassed and stopped because their gender presentation does not match the marker on their identification? What about the queer and trans folks dependent on sex work who are criminalized and threatened by SESTO and FOSTA, new legislations that endanger sex workers rather than protect them? What about those without access to insurance, birth control, abortion, HIV and AIDS treatment, hormone replacement therapy, counseling, and psychological services? Who do not have a safe place to practice their spirituality, who face abuse from families and partners, as well as homelessness, mental illness, PTSD, and discrimination in hiring and firing practices. The list goes on, But I'd like to shift focus to what we can do about this, and I don't have an easy answer. I look at myself and I ask, what am I doing for my siblings who do not look like me? White, tall, thin, physically able, college educated, from a middle class background. Yes, I face my own set of struggles and marginalizations, but if I use my specific set of privileges only to fight my specific disadvantages, where would that leave the trans women of color who have paved the way for all of us to exist here today and still continue to be the most vulnerable and targeted of our community? We each have a unique set of privileges that can and should be used in service to those who do not share in them. Ijeoma Oluo, writer, activist, Black queer woman, and author of So You Want to Talk About Race, once tweeted, "Look for where your privilege intersects with somebody's oppression. That is the piece of the system that you have the power to help destroy." That tweet changed my life. None of us is free until all of us is free. And for white queers, cisgender queers, male queers, we must recognize that so many QLGBT folks face a sharper degree of oppression from the intersections of sexuality with gender, race, class, and disability, and put their struggles at the center of our movement. The true purpose of Pride is about the complete and total liberation of every member of our community, even if that takes generations more of hard, painful, sometimes thankless work. So I want to close with a statement published by the Gay Liberation Front at its formation in 1969 after Stonewall. They say, "We identify ourselves with all the oppressed, the Vietnamese struggle, the third world, the blacks, the workers, all those oppressed by this dirty, rotten, vile, effed up capitalist conspiracy. Because of the rampant oppression we see in addition to our own, because of the corrupt values, because of the injustices, we no longer want to make it in America." That's America with a K. Could be 3 Ks. "Our struggle cannot succeed without a fundamental change in society, which will put the source of power in the hands of the people who at present have nothing. As our struggle grows, it will be made clear by the changing objective conditions that our liberation is inextricably bound to the liberation of all oppressed people." So thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for being who you are. May we stay proud, strong, loving, together, today and always, in the struggle to liberate one and all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, River. Following that, we would like to remind you again of the Families Belong Together protest later today to support immigrant rights and protest the detention of families and children. It's happening from 4 to 6 p.m. today at Window on the Bay on Del Monte Ave. Bring protest signs. We'll have some limited supplies to make them there. Your voice, your friends, your passion, come out and support that this afternoon.
So that about does it for our speakers. Now we're going to give you a little bit of entertainment. We're going to start off with Christopher Smith. Christopher is deaf, black, and queer. He will be performing a song in ASL. Give it up for Christopher.
Do star and shine me home. I'm on my own. When I'm down and feeling blue, I close my eyes so I can be with you. Oh baby, be strong for me. Baby, belong to me. Help me through. Help me need you. Until the morning sun appears, making light of all my fears. I dry the tears I've never shown. I'm on my own. But when I'm down and feeling blue, I close my
Oops. There you go. Somebody knows the words.
dry the tears I've never shown. I'm on my own. But when I'm down and feeling blue, I close my eyes so I can be with you. Oh baby, be strong for me. Baby, belong to me. Help me through, help me need you. Sometimes I wonder where I've been, why do I feel I may not win, but I can't be thrown
Got the video.
Thank you, Christopher. That was beautiful. I actually wanted to give an opportunity. There was a few announcements about folks running for office, and I just wanted to give an opportunity for anybody else that's running that wanted to come up and just give a shout out about your support for the LGBT community. Is there any folks running for office? Any candidates here?
Hi, my name is Wes White. I'm running for mayor in Salinas, so I'm coming from the other side of Lettuce Curtain. LGBT is definitely one of those human rights issues that need to be addressed. I do a YouTube channel, so I followed the first Pride Parade. I went up to Santa Cruz. I think there was a whole slew I went to, and you just got to be supportive. I mean, people have feelings, and without respecting those, then I go and attack the big bullies. So that's kind of what I like to do is try to stick up for other people. And this is one of those things. Tyler's my friend. A lot of friends I've met. I love these people, actually, quite honestly. It's only been a year or two. These are my new friends, and we got to stick up for each other all the time.
Thank you, Wes. Is there anybody else that would like to come up? Okay, very good. That door is closed. All right, so now we're going to move on to our last couple of shout outs. I know many of you sitting here probably heard these already, but let's just go through these one more time. We're going to start off with a huge thank you to our sponsors, Community Human Services. We also have ACLU Monterey County Chapter, Epiphany Lutheran and Episcopal Church, Rainbow Speakers and Friends, Unitarian Universalist Church of the Monterey Peninsula, Peace and Justice Center, and Wave Street Studios. Thank you all so much for your generous support.
And we're about to get started with our last performance of the day, which is our amazing drag show. So just be aware as our afternoon comes to a close, the silent auction only has 30 more minutes. So, I can't, 2:15, I have to read the watch I'm wearing for sure. So just know 30 more minutes for the silent auction, so get in there and bid. And then again, after the festival, there's a lot of things going on. There is a protest for the detention of families and children at 4 to 6 p.m. We also have our panel at Wave Street Studios at 5 p.m. You can come be a part of the live audience or watch the live stream afterwards. Tyler and I will both be there. And then tonight is going to be Pride Night at Barrett Bowl downtown starting at 8 p.m. You can get your VIP wristband in the back with an ID that says you're over 21. And with that...
Yeah, so we are going to let our queens get started. Who's ready to see some drag queen shows? I think they need a little bit more energy. Who's ready? All right, we're going to pass it over to Ayumi Lighthouse. Give it up for Ayumi.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the drag portion of today's festivities.
Yep, turn the volume
up.
up.
Have a lot of fun, and I'm about to show you what I do.
Show
I don't move that much on a normal day, so I'm kind of winded. Thank you for that. My name is Amy Winehouse. A little bit more about me. I'm Vice President of Salinas Valley Pride. Our event will be taking place Sunday, October 14th at Toro Park.
Very well.
It's going to be a little switch up from our normal event, but hopefully heralding in a new era of Salinas Valley Pride. And we hope to see you all there, out in the sun, hopefully. You can check out our information booth for more information. It's back there with the rest of the Pride booths. Say hi, guys. I'm really happy to be helping to bridge the gaps between these communities, Salinas to Monterey, and from here to the rest of the general area. Our area is so rich with diversity that it deserves to be celebrated, all of it. So you've seen Salinas Valley Pride on stage, and now you're going to be welcoming Pajaro Valley Pride to the stage. Please help me welcome Pajaro Valley Pride President, Sinistra!
We clawed, we chained our hearts in vain. We jumped, never asking why. We kissed, I fell under your spell.
So I just want to let you all know that the silent auction is closing in 15 minutes. 2:15, the silent auction will be closed. So just encourage you to make one last swing through there if you haven't been able to do so already. And back to you, Ayumi.
Thank you. Give it up for Tyler. Vote for Tyler when it comes up in November? I don't know. When did we do elections? November. Alright, so moving things forward, I've known this little lady ever since I was a baby drag queen. 2 years ago when I was 17. She's really amazing. I love her a bushel and a pep. Please help me welcome Marina's own Tequila Banana Mockingbird. So keeping things moving right along. I have vision problems. I'm having a vision right now. So moving right along. Representation is important in all aspects of our community, and this stage is no different. So, with that said, presenting the first ever drag king.
Waking up in my college dorm, yeah, my life it was pretty normal. Looking for a date to the spring form, I wasn't worried about nothing else, no. Majoring in undecided, notebook full of bad songs I was writing, never told my daddy and mama, you're gonna have a grandkid. From Uganda, that's right, we're adopting. And she is the cutest little girl that you ever seen. Well, I was wrapping my head around being a dad. A big wrench got thrown in the plans we thought we had. Now Lauren's showing, got one on the way. Yeah, that's 2 under 2. Hey, what can I say? Life changing. You wake up, ain't nothing the same. And life changing. You can't stop it, just hop on the train. And you never know what's gonna happen. You make your plans and you gotta make them. And life changes. And I wouldn't change it for the world. And I wouldn't change it for the world.
So I could go on and on and on about how much I love our next performer. So you can meet me after the show if you want me to go on and on about that. I'll count the ways for you, there are many. She's shown tremendous growth in the little time she's been performing. I'm so proud to be able to call her my little sister. And I'm so proud to bring you this little baby right here, Alpha!
With another girl? Do you think he was just doing that to make me jealous? Because he was totally texting me all night last night, and I don't know if it's a booty call or not. Like, what do you think? Did you think that girl was pretty? How did that girl even get in here? Do you see her? She's so short, and that dress is so tacky. Where's Cheetah? It's not even summer. Why is the DJ keep on playing Summertime Sadness? After you get in the bathroom, can we go smoke a cigarette? I really need one. But first, let me take a selfie. Where the hell my phone? Where the hell my phone? How I'm supposed to get home? Where the hell my phone? Where the hell my phone? Where the hell my phone? How I'm supposed to get home? Where my phone? Looking around like where my phone? Looking where my homies went? Where the hell my homies went? Where the hell my homies went? How I'm supposed to get home? How I'm supposed to get home? I'm walking home. What the hell these Louboutins for? What the hell these Louboutins for? Walking home in this damn info. Walking home in this damn info. What the hell these Louboutins for? What the hell these Louboutins for? Yeah, I was getting it looking real cute. Here is a dude. Oh, he fine. What's up with you? Where the hell my phone? Hey, where the hell my phone? Where the hell my phone? Hey, how I'm supposed to get home? Where the hell my phone? Hey, where the hell my phone? Where the hell my phone? How I'm supposed to get home? Okay. Ooh, unlock that, all up in my contacts. 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 Oh my God. This is crazy, but here's my number. So call me maybe. home? How I'm supposed to get home?
But you're holding it.
Oh.
Are you guys having fun? It's an honor and a privilege for me to introduce our next performer. I've seen her perform at several Pride events throughout the years, and she is truly a legend, both in my eyes and in her own right. Earlier this year, she competed in the Universal Show Queen pageant in Hawaii, and she performed so fiercely that she brought home the crown. Introducing your Universal Show Queen 2018, Alina Maletti Galore.
Say what you say.
I didn't really have a chance to look in the mirror and see if I look okay, so...
You look fabulous!
We're going to go ahead and keep this rolling along. So I'm going to introduce your next performer, the best performer that you've seen so far today, myself. So just so you know, the silent auction is officially closed. If you bid on something and you think you might be the winner, go ahead and go check on it. Or don't and stay for this wonderful show. It's up to you. I really do not move that much at all. I should probably start moving. Okay. I think I'm okay. Please help me in welcoming back Pajaro Valley Pride, Sinistra! Give it up for Tequila Banana Mockingbird. Rolling right along. Alright, rolling right along. Please welcome back Mr. Will Hans.
Years ago, we were singing every word on the radio, kinda like them songs to save our souls, somehow, some way. We was falling fast, we was jumping in, blue jeans
wanted to give a special shout out to my mother. She's right there. Because without her, I wouldn't have this roll of paper towels, which has been essential to making sure I don't look super shiny. I'm sure I do still do. Whatever, I don't care. So paper towels, everybody, yay! Now help me welcome back my baby sister. Give it up for Alpha!
in Monterey, city of Monterey. How are you all today? Happy Pride. Okay, there's at least 60 people in here, maybe 70, maybe 100. You guys can do better than that. How are you guys doing? Happy Pride. Because I was worried that you guys weren't happy. I just drove a trip that should have taken an hour and 5 minutes, 2 hours and 15 minutes to come down and see happy people. Now let me hear it. Are you happy? Thank you. So, I want to make sure that people understand the reason I grabbed that flag. I am a veteran. I love the United States of America. Yay! There may be some things that are happening in this time that I do not agree with, but it does not take away from the fact that I have not lived in a country that needed to be great again. I have always lived in a country that was great. This song I dedicate to every one of you because we need to have peace in the valley again. And peace is in my heart. So therefore, I don't worry about the person who is in office, what he's doing and what he's trying to dictate, because peace is in my heart. And every day that we wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and have survived another day of what his chaos is, we should be proud that we have survived it. So when you guys go out tonight and you celebrate Monterey Gay Pride, and know that it was bigger than it was last year, and know that it will be bigger next year than it is this year. I want you to remember how proud you are to be human. I want you to remember how proud you are to stand for something, because if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And just remember, people and the government are doing things that you do not like. Open your mouths and say something. Honestly, this one thing may not be able to do lot, but when you grab this and put it together, you can make a mighty blow. So just remember. And also, in November, for people that you know that are Democrats, or people that you know have not voted, or people that you know that are in a different Democratic whatever that they want to say, claim that they are when it comes to voting, just make sure that you vote for a difference. If you feel that you are not treated the way that you want to be treated, if you feel that people are disrespecting you, if you feel that you cannot be heard, everyone come together and break a fist and make a mighty blow. Because that is the only way that you're going to do what you want. Once again, if I picked up that flag and I disrespected anyone, please understand that that was not my intention to disrespect. It was my intention to let you all know I am a veteran, and I am proud to be a veteran of the United States. To be a citizen of the United States of America, and I am very, very proud to be a gay man who is a Christian, who has been married for 20 years, and who has kids all over this freaking state, country, every place else, and I love you all. Thank you all. So powerful, I love you.
It is hot in here.
Oh, can I get a blowjob? Everybody, please. Every time I go to a new city, I'm always looking for a blowjob. Everyone put your lips together and blow. That's the best blowjob you can ever get. It's safe, and as long as you don't have halitosis, you won't be offended. Grab the microphone.
So that concludes our drag portion of the show. Did you guys have fun? Hopefully we'll have everybody back next year. Would you like that? Alright, so let's welcome back every one of our performers to the stage. Starting with Will Hawk. Well, Banana Mockingbird. Give it Denise Strauss.